Hello Aquarius, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot. Ooh. And today we are doing September readings. I've got the Curious Travels tarot deck here, and I've also got a rune deck and the Moonology Oracle deck here. As always, these are general readings for a general Aquarius audience. So take what resonates for you and please leave the rest for another Aquarius. I invite you to check out the videos for all of your astrological placements, your major astrological placements. So like your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign. Sometimes one or the other is really resonant, but usually they all have a little something to offer. Okay. Let's get a rune here. Laguz. Okay, nice. Nice. And a Moonology. Okay. So the rune you got was Laguz, which is like lagoon or lake. It's flow, water. It's like a source of fertility, because often water and water sources are like associated with the feminine or creative source. For me, this is also like flow. It's not just for me, but I associate this with going with the flow, going with sort of your creative flow, your creative insights. So for any artists, this is a really good card to be inspired to work on your creative projects. There's also this piece too, especially for women, to be in touch with your feminine power. If there's a piece about, like healing the feminine, like literally, if you need sort of connection with the fertility piece. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't give medical advice or anything, but this can be a good sign in terms of support with your fertility journey or feminine sort of health. I better just leave it there because I can't give medical advice or anything, but I think you see where I'm going there. But in any case, going with the flow, trusting your instincts, supporting your emotional life, your emotional journey, and we actually see a lot of cups. You have 4 cups in this reading, which is also speaks to your emotional life, your creative life, your also going with the flow and your emotional health. So that's connected really well there. Now, in terms of your Moonology Oracle card, a new start is coming, and I think you're about the 3rd sign that has gotten this card, so this has come up a couple of times. It is September, which can feel like a new start for a lot of us. It's when, certainly in the US where I live, school starts again this time of year, so there's very much that fresh feeling of new cycles in September, a new beginning, a new calendar, certainly for the new school year, so it's a new school calendar. Let's see how the new start and going with the flow connects with your tarot. The first card we have here is Strength, which can be very much about being true to who you are. And sometimes the call with the Strength card is actually In challenging situations, there can be a call to stick up for yourself, or stick up for your kid or your family or your school. That can sometimes be what strength is about. That sort of grace under pressure can be kind of the lesson behind this card. It can be like the call to sort of, I don't know another way to say this, so I'm going to say it this way, kind of being a Karen without being a Karen. You know, you can stick up for yourself without being a jerk about it, right? Sometimes Karens get a bad rap because they feel entitled to a certain kind of treatment or behavior, but they're wrong about it. But this is that sticking up for yourself when you're right, when you are entitled, or maybe your child needs a particular service, or a parent, or you know, for some reason there is a reason for you to be strong, to speak your truth, to show up with full force. But it's not about roaring. It's about knowing what you deserve, or what your child deserves, or what, you know, what the situation requires. That the situation requires not a shrinking violet, but your full regal presence. And you know, when you show up with your capacity to argue in good faith, there's recognition here. The Three of Pentacles is a card that acknowledges your capacity to be a leader, your capacity, some sort of strength, or an acknowledgement of your skills, your talents, is what the Three of Pentacles reflects. It usually comes at the workplace. So especially if you have a 9-to-5 job, this strength card could be a situation where maybe you speak truth to power, and maybe you speak up for your team or for a colleague, coworker, not just yourself. It could be you asking for a raise. It could be as simple as that. It could be you asking for an overdue promotion. But in any case, oftentimes there's some sort of employee of the month, or, you know, a move to a team leader position that comes with the Three of Pentacles. So we see at the beginning of the month some sort of you showing up, possibly for yourself, possibly for you and a team, or, you know, someone who needs your voice as well, and recognition that comes with that. We see in the next column, let's see if that can get more focus, some sort of party or celebration, possibly in response to whatever happened over here. It'll be different for different Aquarians, right? But this can be a harvest card. This could be a you know, a work party. This could be a birthday celebration or something, but a gathering of friends, just to gather with friends. But it does feel, you know, since it follows whatever happened over here, it could be some celebration of something you've accomplished over here. And this is paired with the Hermit, which is a card of reflection, where there's a kind of a meditation piece, or a kind of an awareness here of your own growth, or your own education through experience. You know, there's the education that we receive in school, through books, through traditional education. But the hermit learns through this sort of the journey, right? You can see the hermit traditionally, well, it's actually hard to see in this card, but maybe very vaguely you can see there's a walking stick, which is a traditional tool of the hermit, the lantern. The hermit is an older version, or maybe I shouldn't say older, but more mature version of the fool. You know, when we first meet the fool, who is the first character in the major arcana, we see a youthful person who's just about to like walk off a cliff. They've got a satchel on a stick, and they don't know where they're going. They're about to walk off a cliff, but they're really excited about this new journey. And the hermit, it's bright daylight, right? We meet the hermit, and the hermit is the more mature version of the fool. It's now night, and they're a little bit slower moving. They're also still on a mountain, but they're further up the mountain. Their satchel is now just a walking stick, and they've got a lantern, but they've also got their own light, which symbolizes they kind of know where they're going now. They kind of can see where they're projecting themselves, instead of like just walking off a cliff willy-nilly. And this, you know, is kind of the idea here is that you have experienced and grown through, in part through this, whatever it is you've fought for, but you know, you were only able to do this because of other things you've gone through in your life. And there's an awareness at this point of how you've grown and how you've matured on the journey, and where else this might take you. So it seems like there might be an awareness mid-month of somewhere else you might go, whether that might be back to school or writing a book or something. There's this reflective moment of where else you can go, or what else you might do with this specialty knowledge that you have. Now, in the next column, we have the Page of Cups and the Two of Cups. This really does suggest something in terms of an interpersonal relationship, romantic relationship. So if you're already in a romantic type relationship, this could be taking it to the next step, or perhaps renegotiating terms, or clarifying, or taking a trip together, or in some way, you know, just solidifying those bonds. If you're not in a significant relationship, it could be the kind of thing where you get back on those dating apps, or see, what do you call them, that person who helps you, like a matchmaker, or you ask friends, or you go on speed dating, something or other, where you make some sort of conscious effort to get back into the dating world, or something along those lines. If you're not really a romantic type person and not really interested in that, this could be the sort of thing where you make an effort in your interpersonal relationships that are not romantic. Like maybe you reach out to friends and plan a get-together, or perhaps maybe you decide to join a group of like-minded individuals, or an artistic group or something. But this is so much about making connections with other human beings that there is very much a sense here of a concerted effort to connect and to bond with like-minded folks. Now, in the very last column here, we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Again, the Knight of Cups does suggest, especially for those who are dating or looking to improve their romantic connections, you know, that kind of activity. The Knight of Cups would be a romantic type character who is active and proactive in that regard. The Queen of Pentacles would be someone who is a very resourceful host, or it could be someone like a mentor, someone like even a boss who has some advice or is a safe place to land if you just wanted to connect. But it could be someone who has a job, or connections or advice, something along those lines. It actually does feel a bit maternal, frankly. So I think for more folks, this would be like a friend or a sister or something like that, and someone to connect with, to bond with. We see a much more sort of social second half of the month. So while there is some reason to make some sort of stick up for yourself or argue for the rights of people on the job, or the people you live or sort of work around. But this kind of half of the reading does seem to be more about work or education, or, you know, that side of your life. Wow, this half of the reading seems to be more about your interpersonal relationships and reconnecting with either your romantic life and good friends, or that's better, and friends, or just, you know, friends or clubs, associations, generally. So I'm just going to say what this point of reflection is going to be different for different Aquarians, and where this sort of personal meditation leads you. I think it may lead to different new starts in different points of your life. So it may be different for different Aquarians, but I'm going to leave it there. That's what I have for you for this September reading. Thank you so much for joining me, Aquarius. If this has been helpful, I hope you'll consider leaving a like or comment, share, subscribe. In any case, please take good care of yourself. Until next time, bye for now.